This is the 10th direct variation video. The learning target of this video is I can use an equation to answer a question about a situation. This video goes with the direct variation 5 worksheet. Now I will definitely say that this worksheet is where things start to get a little bit complicated, so please do not feel overwhelmed if you find this worksheet really difficult. Do your best, work on it a little bit, and we will work on this a lot next year. So on the front of the worksheet, you're given an example one example, and then you're asked to use that example to answer two different types of questions. So in our example, Satvika sends 10 emails every 2 days, and we're told that X is days and Y is number of emails sent. So as always, to find our equation, we find our unit rate as Y divided by X. So 10 emails every 2 days, 10 divided by 2, gives me a unit rate of 5, and my equation in this situation is y equals 5x. Now I'm going to use that equation for both types of situations, and in the first question type, we are given x and need to find y. So we're asked how many emails will Satvika send in 7 days? Now the key word here is, or the key words are 7 days. So we know that we are given our x value. X is 7 because we're given the information 7 days and x represents days. So when I'm given x, all I need to do is plug that value of x into my equation in for my x. So y equals 5 times 7, which is 35. That tells me that after 7 days, Satvika will be sending 35 emails. For the second question type, we are given y and need to find x. So in this example, we're asked, how long will it take Satvika to send 55 emails? I know that I'm given y in this case because of the keywords or word emails. Emails is y. Y represents emails. So since I'm given y, I'm going to plug 55 in for y in my equation. So 5x equals 55. Now I end up with a one-step equation which I know how to solve. I divide both sides by 5. 55 divided by 5 is, I did what Ms. Courtney says I'm not allowed to do. I'm okay with this, but let's do what Ms. Courtney says. So 55 divided by 5 is 11, and then 5x divided by 5 just gives me x. And then I skipped that step and just went ahead and wrote x equals 11. What this tells me is that it takes Satvika 11 days to send 55 emails. So in the bottom of this worksheet, you are given a situation, and then you have to figure out what type of question am I being asked. Am I given x and asked to find y, or am I given y and asked to find x? So let's look at 1a. Mr. C's car can drive 90 miles with 3 gallons of gas. How far can Mr. C drive with 10 gallons of gas? So let's go ahead and write our equation first. We are told that y is miles driven and x is gallons of gas. So if y is miles driven, my y divided by x will be 90 miles over my x, which is gallons of gas, 3. So my unit rate is 30 miles per gallon. And once again, I did not give you enough space. I guess I don't need units here. Okay, so if my unit rate is 30, my equation is going to be y equals 30x. Now I need to figure out what type of equation am I being, or what kind of question am I being asked? My question is, how far can Mr. C go with 10 gallons? So I'm looking for the unit here. My unit is gallons. That means I am given x. How far can he drive with 10 gallons of gas? So what I know is that x equals 10. To order that question, or to answer that question, I'm going to go ahead and plug in 10 for x. So y equals 30 times 10, which is 300. This tells me that, and there is not room to write this, Mr. C can drive 300 miles with 10 gallons. Okay, let's go ahead and go on to question B. Juha saves $50 every 10 days, and it tells me that money is my y and days is my x. That means my unit rate is going to be money per day. So $50 in 10 days is $5 per day. That means my equation is y equals 5x. Now that I have my equation, I need to think about what type of question am I being asked. So I look at my question. I'm given the information $210. Since my unit on what I'm given is dollars, that means I'm given my y value. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in 210 for my y. So 210 equals 5x. I now have a one-step equation. 210 divided by 5, 5x divided by 5. Whoa, that's a lot to do in my head. 210 divided by 5. You could use a calculator here. That would be okay, but I think I can do it. 210 divided by 5 is 42. Following that procedure Ms. Courtney asked us to, I have x equals 42. That means after 42 days, Juha will have $210. Again, I know that this is difficult and this is really difficult to approach without a teacher, but we're just asking you to try your best, and then we will be there to get you the rest of the way next year.